Hey guys, what's up? Scotch Duck here, once again. Right. Title of the video says it all. We are now coming up to the end of May for 2017, okay? So we're 5 months into the year, not even halfway through it, and it's already been, like, horrific in terms of, like, quality game releases, you know? Like, it's so insane looking back on it, because I'm pretty sure I did, like, a top 10 list last year, 2016, or maybe even it was 2015. And I remember that year I was very much more like retro focused, not only because I was playing a lot of stuff that I was really getting into at the time, but also because a lot of stuff coming out just didn't really interest me that much. In fact, I think as far as my top 10 games of 2015 and 2016 goes, these 10 games that have already come out are probably better than either of those lists. It really is unbelievable, you know? And yeah, I'm going to go through 10 games that I've played so far this year that you will probably see at the end of the year when I do a proper list. Maybe in a slightly different order depending on how my viewpoint changes and all that bollocks. And keep in mind there's a lot of stuff that's came out this year that I've not even like got round to trying yet. For example, I'm still playing, I haven't played rather, Fire Emblem Echoes. I haven't played Trails in the Sky, the 3rd chapter. I haven't played, well, Dragon Quest Heroes 2, you know, there's so much shit. And probably there's going to be some things that I didn't even get into that much. Probably the biggest offender is like Horizon Zero Dawn. I know everybody was very like up in arms about that one. But I don't know, it was really just a matter of like I prioritised other games over that one. And as a result, I've not really gotten a chance to sit down and play it yet. Same with like Nioh. Nioh garnered a lot of attention. Didn't play that one for very long, but in any case, we're going to go over 10 games that I have played so far this year that, yeah, are just really, really good. So, with that said, let's get into it. For number 10, actually, I actually struggled finding a number 10, funnily enough. Mainly in terms of, like, I want to say I've beaten it yet, or at least put a hell of a lot of time into it so I can feel like I've beaten it yet. But in the end, for this one, I went for Full Throttle Remaster. Now, this was like the final HD remaster to be released, and I guess what could be considered a sort of Double Fine trilogy, which consists of like Dave the Tentacle, Grim Fandango, and of course now this Full Throttle. And honestly, with the game itself, in comparison to Dave the Tentacle and Grim Fandango, I feel like it's a lot more inferior, really. It's a lot more shorter for definite. And yeah, it wasn't quite as funny or charming as the other games, but it was still an old school point-and-click game by Tim Schafer, so I don't want to hate on it too much, and I certainly enjoyed it enough to want to put it on this list, but I'm pretty sure you won't see that at the end of the year for sure, you know, because there's just going to be more stuff coming out. But I want to give that one a little plug for definite, so yeah, fucking Full Throttle HD Remaster number 10, I guess, okay? Next I'm going to say Resident Evil 7. Now this game was like, January was a hell of a month actually. Quite a lot of shit came out in January, like every week pretty much. And I feel like I didn't even give this game as much time as I wanted to. I pretty much just played it from start to finish all the way to the end, deemed that it was a pretty good game and a nice little successor to the series, and kinda left it at that. It's not been on my mind that much. I haven't like pondered my feelings towards it too much outside of that original playthrough. But that original playthrough is still fresh enough in my mind for me to say, yeah, this was really fucking good, quite frankly, you know? You've all heard the like comparisons by this point, I'd imagine, you know, how Resident Evil almost sort of like lost its way in recent years and this one feels like a return to form. Well, that's pretty much honestly fucking true, and I guess to be honest, if anything, my opinion on the game's a wee bit more iffy as times went on because of like, you've got the DLC released and stuff, and it's mostly stuff that you just look at and think, shouldn't that have been in the full game? You know, I can't help but think like that, honestly, and considering this is Capcom we're talking about, have you guys seen that fucking... They're selling Street Fighter 2 for the Switch for 40 quid, that's unbelievable, or whatever price it is. It's too pricey anyway. But yeah, they're still in sort of on my shit list for that. But what's here is definitely good, and I want to give it number 9 spot. So yeah, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Is that really like the subtitle? Yeah, anyway. Okay, let's see here. Did I want to put yes, I will talk about this now. Now, this is... A lot of people are going to think this is far too low, quite frankly, and I haven't even completed it yet. I have put 65 hours into it so far, and I honestly have a lot of mixed feelings about it, and that's Persona 5. Now, playing for this game is really like opening my eyes to how I feel about the Shin Megami Tensei series, more specifically the Persona series as a whole, you know. I've always kind of like assumed that, oh yeah, Persona's really good, it has my highest respect, but more so than ever I'm just sort of like, excuse me, it's fucking hay fever season. More so than ever I'm kind of like coming to grips with the fact that I don't like it as much as everybody else, you know, and my sort of perception on how everybody else views it kind of clouds my own. Basically my inner hipster is like trying to break out. But honest to God, Persona 5 is really fucking good, okay? And it's just... yeah, it's Persona, that's pretty much the main thing I can say about it. You like Persona 3, you like Persona 5, you like this, it's just Persona with better graphics, you know? But I'm almost resentful towards the game because of how much time it takes up. You know, I've always went on about this sort of like first world pain of always like finding a really good, well not necessarily a really good, but any JRPG, wanting to finish it, but finishing it is such a commitment to your time and energy that you just have to like eventually say to yourself, no, I'm not continuing this, I don't want to put that much time into it. And Persona 5 is a very like weird case, at least for me it is, because it's definitely great enough that I want to keep going, but I'm still feeling that sort of resentment how much time it's taking up. Like I said, 65 hours is a lot of fucking time, you know? I gave you that list of RPGs at the beginning of this video that I want to go on to. I want to go on to Dragon Quest Heroes 2, I want to play Trails in the Sky, the third chapter, you know? But I feel like I want to finish this one first, and it feels like just a little wall that I have to scale, and yeah, very exclusive personal conflicts with this one, okay? I'm not sure you'll see it in my top 10 at the end of the year, but you will see like a pretty positive review from me once I finish it. I'll probably do a review on it, I don't see why I won't. But yeah, I do have that sort of weird, unique perception of it. But anyway, Persona 5 for definite. That's number 8, yes. Okay, number 7, I actually had to go on Wikipedia to double check. That was January, wasn't it? And sure enough it was. Hatsune Miku, Project Diva, Future Tone. Yeah, I've talked about this game enough. 200 plus songs from games ranging from all over the series at 1080p 60 frames per second. It made me break my season pass virginity. I bought the season pass for this game. I saved a whopping £4 by buying the fucking season pass. And looking back on it, I just wish I maintained my pride and bought the packs individually. I don't know, it just feels like, I'm in this sort of, I'm not in the, hasn't given into season passes club anymore. You know, it's like, you've bought a season pass, no, it's gonna follow you around for life, get what I mean? So, yeah, it's funny that that's the first thing that I take away from this game, because obviously I did really like it. There was a lot of nostalgia in Future Tone, honestly, because I've been following this series since like probably 2009, 2010 on the PSP, and really grew to love the songs from those games, and I was able to play them again, and they looked a lot nicer, and yeah, it was a good feeling, it was a really good feeling, so definitely Hatsune Miku Project Diva, and that's holds a special place for definite. I would like it to come out physically. I don't think they will do that, honestly. Obviously it's a lot of content on the disc and whatnot, but one can hope, so yeah, that was number 7. So, next for number 6. Now, this is a game that I think a lot of people are not necessarily forgetting about, but it's definitely getting drowned out amongst all the other stuff that's coming out, and that's Gravity Rush 2. Yeah, like, this game obviously kind of dropped in amongst, like, a massive, like, release schedule, and I don't know, I feel like some of the other games that I've got here are kind of, like, overtaking it almost, you know? It's like, it's probably going to be remembered for being pretty good, just not talked about as much as it probably should. Because this game was really, really good, you know? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one a lot as well. I really liked the remaster that we got. I did a review of it as well, so I'm probably just going to repeat myself a bunch, but yeah, I really like the character Cat. I really like the sort of world that you get in these games. It's just all around really good shit. like I said, you just sometimes forget about it. It's like, oh yeah, the Gravity Rush 2, that was really good. You know, it's not in the forefront of conversation. I don't know. It's a weird feeling, but yeah, I'm definitely putting this here, and you may see it at the end of the year, who knows, depends on if stuff comes out that overtakes it. But regardless, Gravity Rush 2 for definite. Okay. Yes, we're in the top 5 now, so... Right. I'm sort of like doubting the order that I've put some of these in, just looking at it now, but... So that I put them in that pile, let's just roll with it. Number 5 is... Story of Seasons, Trio of Towns. Now, I feel like Fire Emblem Echoes is going to be maybe the last hurrah for the 3DS for me, along with this one. Something may very well come out that, like, I feel is better. I don't know. It could happen. You know, I feel like there's a few games that are coming out for the 3DS throughout this year that could be worth a damn, but who knows? We've still got to wait and see. But I will say for definite that this probably the best Harvest Moon I've played yet. These 3DS ones are so good, you know, it's like, I think I'm almost like a fan of 3DS Harvest Moon more so than I am Harvest Moon in general, as weird as that sounds, even though there are non-3DS Harvest Moon games that I've played and I do enjoy, but there's really something about these ones that you get on the 3DS, you know. At least the ones made by the proper people. There's that new one, Skytree Village, that's coming out. That one doesn't look too hot, but who knows, maybe I'll give it a go. But this one was definitely excellent. You know, you just like, I think I said this when I did a review of it, right? But you really just like get to know the people in the town, or in this case the towns, you know, and you just like, this must be what it feels like to play a lot of these sort of slice of life games like Animal Crossing, you know, you just feel like it sounds cheesy, but you feel like you're there, you're planting these crops, you get to know these people, and yeah, that's why, oh I dropped it, shit. That's why you get so attached to it and whatnot. I'll definitely rebuy this if they bring out a PAL version, you know. At this point, it will, considering the point of the 3DS's lifespan, it'll probably be digital only. But who knows, we got the physical version of the first one, which I didn't think we were going to get, but I rebought it again regardless, so... Yeah, but Story of Seasons, Trio of Towns is definitely a good time having one that I personally really, really fucking adored. Okay. Okay, for number 4, we've got something that, quite a polarizing choice actually, okay? And I've used this to describe games before, okay? You know how when you fall in love, okay, with someone, and that someone has like things about them that you fucking hate, you know, but regardless, you just accept them because as a whole, you just love them despite its faults. That sums up my feelings towards this game perfectly. You can probably all guess it at this point. It is Ukulele. Now, this one sadly is probably gonna like be more so remembered for the little controversial things that happened behind the scenes with it. Not fuck getting into that, I know. But also on top of that, you know, there were people that didn't really dig this game that much, you know. And I believe I can't remember. I think I did it on Twitter anyway. You know, I came across a video of a guy reviewing this game. And I had his opinion exactly, so I'm just going to paraphrase him here for a minute. I honestly feel like the game's poor reception is not due to like the faults of the game itself necessarily, but due to a lack of understanding of what it was supposed to be. Now I'm not saying it's like, it's okay that it's got like these faults from the N64 days, and that we should just like accept it because that's what it was built to be. You know, you shouldn't accept them if they're not fun to play, because make no mistake, there's a lot of things in this game that aren't that fun, for definite, you know, but they are encased within the things that made those like 3D collectathons back in the day so much fun to begin with. And I could see past like all that and like see the core of the game for the just wonderful platform experience that I thought it was, you know. I really genuinely loved this. I love the characters of Yuka and Lele. I really hope they build on this and make a series of it. I would be more than happy to support it again, you know. And again, not even like necessarily the biggest Banjo-Kazooie fan in the world, me, you know. I do like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie quite a bit. In fact, I even replayed through them recently because I got so into this game. But yeah, it's just I just fell in love. I really did just fall in love with this one. I got it on like PC. I got this version because I want to own it physically, and I will probably buy it on the Switch when that version comes out just to play it on the go, right? Seriously, I just can't exactly say I've got nothing but good things to say about it, but I just love it, you know. I just fucking love it. Ukulele. Number 4. So yeah, with all that, what's over ukulele? Holy shit. Okay, now I cannot believe this is not number 1. Okay, Yakuza 0. You all, this is one of the most predictable things I can never talk about on this channel, but I love Yakuza. I love it so much, you know. And I almost like fell out of the series, really. Like, I mean, I've moaned about this so much, I know, I'm sorry, but when Yakuza 5 came out, like a couple of years ago for the PS3, and it was digital only, that really put a damper on my enthusiasm towards the series, you know, because it doesn't feel like we got it fully, quite frankly, you know. We got like a sort of half-hour digital-only version, even though, obviously, for a game of that size, it took ages to translate, but they didn't bother releasing it physically. Not even like after the fact, in limited quantities or whatever, that would become really rare later on, you know. If they did that, that'd be fine. I'd pay for those for a physical copy of English Yakuza 5 for definite. And as a result of that lack of enthusiasm, I've not bothered to like go and properly play through it yet. So when this came out, it was like, okay, it's a prequel, I don't need to play Yakuza 5. But I just sort of started it and was like, and it just, yeah, it just sort of snowballed and completely reminded me of why I adore this series so much, you know. I would say that it's not as good as 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are the peak as far as I'm concerned, but it's up there. This is probably like number 3, I would say. And I really need to get around to beating Yakuza 5. We've got the Yakuza 1 remake coming out in a couple of months, actually, and Yakuza 6 later on next year. I need to beat Yakuza 5 before I go into 6, that's for definite. But, and there's also like little talks that the series is maybe gonna... If it's not gonna end, it's apparently not gonna star Kazuma Kiryu anymore. And that would make me really sad because he is my favourite video game character, and I also feel that, I don't know, I don't want... You can argue that the Yakuza series has been like stagnant for years because they do come out pretty much annually at this point and they're all pretty much the same sort of game, but I don't know, some games can get away with it and some can't. It's all about perception and like personal preference, obviously, but I wouldn't mind a game like this every year, you know. In fact, we pretty much are getting that, you know, that Sega suddenly seems to give a damn about giving us the various versions and whatnot. But yeah, really rekindled my love for this series, this one, you know, even though it wasn't necessarily like I'd lost my love for that, I just sort of lost my enthusiasm, I guess that's really the best way to put it, but yeah, Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0. Okay, now for the top 2, and it was very hard to pick between them, for definite. In fact, they could very well. In fact, honestly, it was hard to pick between the top 3 in general, because I'm just sort of thinking, actually, maybe Yakuza 0 should have been higher, but whatever. We put the pile there, we're just going to roll with it. Okay, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. You've all heard the praise. Okay, I'm actually going to save you the redundancy of this. Everything positive you've heard about the game, I pretty much like mirror it completely, and a lot of you are probably going to ask, yes, I did get another Switch, okay? A second Switch that still has desyncing issues. Unbelievable. Fuck Nintendo. I just, but yeah, I wanted to pick the game up again regardless, because this is probably the version that I will buy the expansion pack for when that comes out later on, you know. I played it through the whole thing on the Wii U, was excellent there. But this is probably the better version of the two. You know, it looks a little bit better. Apparently the frame rate's been patched, which is really good actually. I played it with the patch on this version. The Wii U didn't really benefit from that patch at all, really. It was slightly better, but only slightly. Whereas here, you know, you can go through like all the villages and stuff and get pretty much no slowdown as far as I can tell. So yeah, this is the definitive version of the game for definite. And yeah, it's number 2. You know, you will probably see it quite high at the end of the year for definite. But again, we're not going to be redundant. You all know that everybody loves, or a lot of people love this one. So yeah. And I wonder how many comments I'm going to get about Horizon Zero Dawn not being on the list and Breath of the Wild being on the list, because I know people love that. People love that. But that doesn't matter, because my number 1 game for 2017 so far is Nier fucking Automata. yeah, this was like, you know, it's funny, I should have more to say because it's number 1, but trying to explain this game is hard as shit. You know, I already ramble like fuck in my videos, I ken that, right? But, you know, probably if I sat down in front of and wrote like a proper script for describing my feelings to this game, I might be able to get something sort of coherent. But then I would like read it back and be like, no, actually, I feel like I should reread that because it's just like, it's one of those games you just think of and you're like, Nier Automata. Oh, yeah, that's it, you know, it was, I could say all these words and all these sort of like descriptions like, oh, it was really emotional, oh, it was really like deep and like sad and like fills you with like all these, yeah, I could go on about all that, but it sounds so insincere like that, doesn't it? I really can't explain it, it's just something you're gonna have to accept, okay? It's number 1, okay? It's number 1 and fuck it, it's number 1, and I really liked it. I really am waiting for this game to go on sale on Steam actually, so I can play it again there. I don't want to pay full price for it again necessarily, but I will happily pick it up again on Steam because apparently the PC version is really good, and play for it again there pretty much. Because I got to the end of this and I did that thing at the end of the game, for those of you who've played it, you know, you get this choice to do something at the very end, and I did it. Okay, I'll not say what that is for spoilers and shit, but I did it, so yeah, I should get around to playing it again, shouldn't I? So yeah, those were my top 10 games of 2017 so far. And fuck knows what else, how this list is going to change by the end of the year, because we haven't even had E3 yet. That's the scary thing about this, you know, like, because there isn't like too much coming out in the pipeline. You could definitely name a few, but in terms of like sustaining for the rest of the year, you know, there's probably going to be a lot more from here till the end of the year, you know, like we just have to wait to E3, you know, that'll be a good time. So that's that, guys. See you after. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.